Hey everyone, and welcome back to Devlog 4 for Chains, a settler-style rhythm building game I'm making in Godot. Last time I added multi-ingredient production. For example, the worm cooker now needs water and a live worm to produce cooked worms. I also introduced the idea that produced goods grant effects for our monster society. Mushrooms increase the carrier cap, cooked worms make carriers faster, and so on. I hadn't implemented those effects yet. That's today's focus. To make effects work, I'm adding new fields to my goods resource. Alongside the existing data, like an ID, a texture, etc., each good now stores what type of effect it has, the maximum magnitude of that effect, and which building the effect is affecting. For now, I'm planning 3 effect types: increase the build limit, increase the maximum of current goods, and unlocking new buildings. In this episode, I'm starting with the first, build limit. Let's look at the mushroom. It should affect carriers and raise the carrier build limit by 10. To test it, I wired up a rough prototype, and as you can see, the effect increases the maximum number of carriers the player can build. With that working, I'm moving on to a mechanic that influences how strong an effect is when the good is delivered. To encourage players to optimize the rhythm of each chain, every good now has a freshness and decay. If a good arrives at the center at full freshness, you get a full effect. With each measure, freshness decays by a set amount, so the final effect is reduced accordingly. This makes faster carriers more valuable and adds strategy. Which good should be prioritized to arrive on time? Each good gets a decay per measure value. On delivery, freshness is reduced per measure, and then the effect scales with the remaining freshness. For example, the mushroom loses 20 freshness per measure. To make this fair, I'm adding 3 measures, a small grace period before decay starts. It's set per good. Mushrooms might get 1 free measure, while cooked worms could have a bit more because they are cooked. For visual feedback, I map freshness to the sprite's color so you can read the decay at a glance. Each good has a rod threshold. If freshness falls below that, it fades out and disappears. The first effect handler was a quick hack, so now I'm doing it properly, and surfacing it clearly on the HUD. At game start, I load and store important building data, like current count and limit for each building type. And when any of this changes at runtime, the system emits a signal to update the HUD. When a limit is reached, you can't place more of that building. For now, there's an error sound. I will add visual feedback later. And here's the result. As I build carriers, the HUD shows the current count. If I hit the cap, I can't build more. With the mushroom chain active, the cap increases and I can build additional carriers. Now I connect a second chain, but quite inefficient. That would make expanding through the cave harder, so I tune the rhythm until the chain is efficient. And as the delivery stabilizes, the maximum rises, and we can now build up to 30 carriers. Back to the worm cooker. Its role is to unlock 8th node carriers, aka faster carriers. First I create a new carrier type and give it a slightly different color, so it's easy to tell apart. In the resource I set everything up. ID, name key for localization, node value, sound, sprite, and importantly, the build limit. To see if it works, I connect the warm cooker to a water collector and a warm catcher. We can build enough quarter node carriers for this without mushrooms. And as you can see, the 8th node carriers unlock. I used them to set up a new mushroom chain, which is noticeably faster and gives us more flexibility in our rhythms. Let's try mushrooms a bit farther away. It isn't at full effectiveness yet, but it's fast enough to deliver before the mushroom fully decays. So that's it for this week. I'm really happy with the progress because we now have a solid foundation we can extend, like a new carrier type, a better connected HUD and working effects. But of course there's still plenty to improve. For example, what happens if the cap drops and we have more carriers than allowed? Or how can we make it easier to keep an overview with lots of carriers moving? If you have suggestions, I would love to hear your feedback, and thanks for watching and see you next time.